These guys are must pickups for the playoffs. Nick Westbrook, the Titans receiver. This guy is a touchdown machine. He's had 8 touchdowns since week 6.
Adam Thielen, he's just come back. He's healthy. Just this last game he played, he had 10 targets, 8 catches, and 99 yards. He's one of those guys that gets heavy targeted, so I like him.
Could we see Chuba lose some snaps and carries because of Jonathan Brooks is getting healthy? I think we could. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Catching a Vibe. I'm your host, Drew, joined by the co-host, Mike. It's week 14. The season is just flying by. And today, we're going to go over the waiver wire. These guys are must pickups for the playoffs, for the fantasy playoffs. There's some good options off the waiver wire. You know, we had some key injuries. Then there's just guys that are popping off late in the year. So I'm looking forward to this video.
Yeah, right. Now, this is a big crucial part, getting these players coming into the playoffs. So you're looking around to add some depth. Maybe you even get a starter to help bolster your team. So, yeah, these are very important times to pick up these players.
Mm-hmm. All right, so my first must add is Nick Westbrook, the Titans receiver. This guy is a touchdown machine. He's had 8 touchdowns since week 6. Against Washington, he had 8 targets for 3 catches, 61 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He reminds me a lot of Rashid Shaheed, how he would score a bunch of touchdowns. And, he had some big touchdowns. He had a 98-yard touchdown a couple of weeks ago, and he's definitely a receiver, too, on this Titans. He's out on the field 90% of the time. I would be a little nervous to play him because of the lack of catches, but he definitely needs to be rostered. He's only rostered in 20% of leagues. So Nick Westbrook, that's why I think he's a must-add.
Yeah, here's a guy that's doing the most with the little bit that he's getting, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's averaging 5 targets a game, but he's falling into the end zone just about every game, 7 out of 8 games he scored a touchdown. So you love that, right? The last 3 games, his fantasy point totals were 19, 12, and 21. So he is definitely somebody that you want to put on your roster. Calvin Ridley's, not putting up those big numbers for you. So I would look for Nick Westbrook as an add to your roster. Mm-hmm. Definitely a good pickup. So a guy that I like I'm going to suggest is Adam Thielen, right? He's just come back. He's healthy. Just this last game he played, he had 10 targets, 8 catches, and 99 yards, 1 touchdown. And he should have had a second one, but they counted him out here. And, this is a guy that relies on heavy target volume. He's getting 10 targets on his first game back. He's going to get a lot of targets. Bryce Young is starting to turn his game around, putting up some big numbers for you. And I looked ahead at their defenses or their playoff schedule that they're playing here. This next week they play Philly. I would stay away from that matchup. But after that, he's got Dallas's defense. They're like 13th in passing defense. Then he's got Arizona. They're 20th. And then he's got Tampa Bay, who is 29th in passing defense here. So I think Adam Thielen is a guy that you want to put on your roster in case you need him. He's one of those guys that gets heavy targeted, so I like him.
No, he looked great last week against the Buccaneers. He had 2 great catches. He had that one-hander on the sideline, and he had that touchdown where he reached out, brought it back to himself, and got his 2 feet down. So Adam Thielen, yeah, I think he's definitely could be a flex play in this playoffs for you.
Right. I mean, since he's been in the league, he gets a lot of targets. Mm-hmm. And Bryce, that's his security blanket. Yeah. Bryce Young always looks his way to get him the ball. And that's what he's been missing all year is that, stable receiver.
Yeah. Bryce Young just looks so much more comfortable in that pocket, and he's throwing great passes. So the Panthers definitely, I think they found their groove offensively. So my next guy is Isaac Guerendo, the 49ers running back. It's pretty simple why you want Guerendo. CMC and Jordan Mason are both on IR, probably going to miss the rest of the year. Garenda, I think, is worth picking up if you're weak at running back, or if you just want to take a chance on the rookie. He's had two good games this year. Week 6 against the Seahawks, he had 10 carries for 99 yards. Then week 8, he had 14 carries for 85 yards and a touchdown. He's only rostered in 1% of leagues, so I think you should definitely go out and get him if you're losing CMC and Jordan Mason. You know what I mean?
Right. This late in the year for you to go out and get a guy that's probably going to be the number one running back on the 49ers is a blessing. This is a guy you definitely want to add. I would say he's priority one. The times that he's got in and he's gotten the bulk of carries, he's put up decent numbers for you. He looks pretty good out there running the ball. And the 49ers are a team that loves to try to establish the run, and they always put up big numbers. You've seen when Jordan Mason filled in for CMC, he put up big numbers. So this guy is in line to put up big numbers for you. So I looked at his playoffs. This next 4-game schedule, he plays Chicago. They're 25th in rushing defense. Then they play the Rams. They're 28th in rushing defense. They play Miami Dolphins. They're 10th. And the last game of the year, he goes up against Detroit. They're a little better on the rush defense, but hey, he's a starting running back, and it's pretty hard to find that guy this end of the year. He's definitely a guy you want to go out.
Yeah,
and get.
you want a guy who's guaranteed volume for
Right.
sure.
The 49ers love feeding, and they always stick with one guy. You know, they put that game plan in, and they stick with the one guy, so he's going to get heavy volume, I think.
And this could be good news for Debo too. Maybe we'll start seeing Debo get more carries since he can't get open against anyone right now.
Right. Yeah, I mean they could rely on him a little bit more down the stretch. You're right. So I'm going to suggest maybe a quarterback if you're, hurting at the quarterback position. Caleb Williams is still out there, 37% rostered. He can string together some big games for you. He does throw the ball a lot, and he does put up high numbers for you. So looking at his schedule, he goes against the 49ers. Now, they're a good pass defense, but the game after that, he goes against Minnesota. They're 28th in passing defense. He got Detroit. They're 25th in passing defense, and then he's got Seattle. So he's got some nice matchups ahead for you. If you have a quarterback that's probably got a bad matchup, if you're looking around, he's a guy that you want to put on your roster. Maybe sneak him in on some of these games where he's got a good matchup for you.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Caleb in the offense just looks so much better. The last 2 weeks, they've scored over 20 points. DJ Moore is getting involved. So you love to see that. And with how many stinker games Caleb has had, he's still in the top 15 quarterbacks in fantasy.
I mean, he does got a great wide receiver core with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen and Roman Dunze. I mean, he's going to have good games for you, and he's a guy that you want to have, on your bench. If you only are carrying one quarterback into these playoffs, maybe you might need him.
Yeah. All right. So my next guy is Kimani Vidal, the Chargers running back. JK is on injured reserve. I hate hearing that because he was having such a great year. So that leads old Gus Bus leading the backfield for the Chargers. And I think Kimani, it's a 2-lead back in Los Angeles. Gus Bus isn't good. I mean, he's old. Haskins, he fumbled on his first carry last week and didn't get another carry after that. So he's in Harbaugh's doghouse. I just think he needs worth being stashed with how Gus Bus is injury prone too. And you could get another starting running back on your team this late in the fantasy season. So that's why I think Kamaya Vidal is worthy of picking up, stashing on your team.
Yeah, I think he's definitely worthy of stashing and putting on your team, especially if you had J.K. Dobbins. He's a good handcuff because, like you said, Gus tends to get hurt and banged up and misses games. Vidal's a young, talented running back that they were high on coming into the season, and I think he's worth putting on your roster in case he does end up being the number one, because the Chargers are a run-heavy offense. So this is a guy that you want to look at. Plus, he's good at catching the ball. he come out of college as a very good pass catcher.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a great pickup.
Yeah.
So a guy I just want to throw out, Braylon Allen for the Jets. Right, Brees Hall is battling some knee injury right now. Brees Hall only had 12 touches in the last game, and Braylon Allen is waiting in the background, ready to explode on his team. You saw when he's got in and was given chances. This guy is an explosive guy and can make things happen. I think he's only rostered in 22%. I think he's a talented running back, and the Jets invested so much in the uh, Brees Hall that if he goes down, next man up mentality here is Braylon Allen. I think he would be a superstar if he's given a chance.
Yeah. No, he's a good player. All right, so my next guy is Jonathan Brooks, the Panthers running back. Chuba Hubbard had his worst game of the year last weekend. He fumbled it in overtime, and that caused the Panthers to lose. He got uptick in his season debut. From his season debut, he played 15 snaps, 6 carries, and 3 catches last week. Could we see Chuba lose some snaps and carries because of the bad game and Jonathan Brooks is getting healthy? I think we could. I think that's definitely possible. So I think he's worth handcuffing if you have Chuba or if you're desperate and need a running back. So Jonathan Brooks is a guy I'm keeping my eye out for.
I agree. As a roster play, maybe Chuba Hubbard got into the doghouse with that late fumble that cost them the game. You never know. This team drafted Jonathan Brooks high. They got a lot of investment into him. I think he's their next superstar that they want to get up there and up and running. Towards the end of the season, they want to see what they got in him. So he could be ramping up a little bit and getting some more touches down the stretch where I think he's a good pickup for you.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. And if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe. We'd really appreciate that.
Hey, good luck in your fantasy playoffs. Hopefully, some of these guys help you out.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe. It's so easy to do. You know, we love doing this for you, and hopefully, give us some likes.
Yeah. Comment down too how you're feeling. We got a couple comments from the last video. Appreciate that. All right. We'll see you next time. Peace.